guys, this is Joy, and today I am still working on 30 days of sketches, which was a challenge that happened in May, and I'm still working on it. And this one is by Mel Walkden, and I'm actually doing two layouts for this, and I'll show you. I actually am going to create an 8x8 with this same layout, and I will show you, that way I can show you exactly what I did. And it worked out perfectly with the 8x8 because with the dimensions of the paper, I only used one pattern paper. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, so the first thing that I did was, so you can see from her sketch, she has a square in the middle. Of course, I'm a two-page scrapper, so I split that and created a triangle in the middle instead of just one page. And I did move the pictures around a little bit. This one's going to be for my grandson, and my grandson had a special friend that my granddaughter babysat this year, and he was so cute. I decided to make him a little album to celebrate their time together. So I will show you how I did that. So this is a 12 by 12. I will leave the dimensions of the 12 by 12, and I will also tell you the dimensions of the 8 by 8. The reason I like 8 by 8s for small children is my grandson really likes to look at himself, and if I do an 8 by 8, it's small enough, it's the size of a book, he can look at his little self, and so that's kind of my idea. So when I create albums for kids that are actually going to be kids albums, I do a smaller, which has been a real challenge for me because I've always just been a traditional 12 by 12 scrapper. And so this is by Mel Walkden, and if you have not seen her videos, you should check her out. She does a great job, and I like to follow a sketch. When I follow a sketch, I try to follow it fairly closely because that's kind of the idea of a sketch. So with no further ado, I am going to go ahead and set this aside. And this is going to be my thing to help me keep a little bit on target. And so the first thing I'm going to tell you how I cut the paper. So this is an 8 by 8. It has a white base, and I used the Enjoy the Ride. So on the beginning of the week, I used to say it was Monday, but sometimes I don't get it. My Monday video is actually happening now, and so my Throwback Thursday will probably happen on Saturday. But so one video a week, I concentrate on I call it throwing back, or I look at my collection that I've had for a while. And then at the beginning of the week, I try to concentrate on something that's more current. So this is a more current paper. It is no longer available, but if you missed out on this, I have several packs of Enjoy the Ride. So Enjoy the Ride was what we call a bridge paper pack, and it was offered through Stampin Up. It was sold through Stampin Up, but it was created with close to my heart. So it has their traditional things like the zip strip, and you will see I used the zip strip on this element. So that's the zip strip from the Enjoy the Ride. And this is the Enjoy the Ride paper pack. I do have several of these. If you're local to me, just reach out to me and tell me you want a pack, and I'll pull it out for you. And this is the paper that I used, and that's the back. I did not buy any of the stamps that went with it. They went super quickly, and the card kit is still available, but I am not much of a card maker. This would have been really cute. I could have used this background instead of the white, but then I would have given up. I would have lost the beautiful sun on here. So they also offered, they offered this paper pack with stickers, and they also offered bulk. So Stampin' Up! Does not have bulk, and I really miss it. So bulk paper simply means you get a pack of paper, and this is one side and this is the other, and it has a zip strip. So you can create cards. In this case, I did the entire layout. I'm going to do the entire layout with the bulk. So on an 8 by 8, you can see that her sketch, she has things centered and there's white around it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm cutting my, I went ahead and cut because you didn't want to see me, cut the zip strip off, but I'm going to save that for later. I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to use it for my little, she has a little tags hanging, not tags, she has strips hanging down, dub strips hanging down, so I'm going to add those to that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cut 6 by 8. So if you want to recreate this as an 8 by 8, it's really easy. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go 6 inches. So I don't like pulling out my arm, so I always do the subtraction thing. So I want this to be, this piece is 7. So I am going to cut it 5. And then I'm going to keep my, so it just helps me. I don't like to cut in the ditch. I'm going to line that up really evenly. So it's right there. Okay, so that gives me the 7. Hang on to this piece. This piece you will cut 4 by 4. I'm not going to actually do that because I already have a 4 by 4 piece. So I cut it 4 by 4. Here's my piece. That was 4 by 4. Let's pretend together. So I cut it 4 by 4. And then I place my piece like this. And I cut it this way. Can you see? I'm off camera. Sorry. So I made, this is a 4 by 4 square that I cut out of my extra. And then I just cut it at an angle. And that gave me, well look, it's okay. I can use a 4 by 4 piece. So I cut it out 4 by 4. And I just throw things over here, my messy little side off to the side. And then I'm going to cut it at the angle. All right, there's my 2 angles. So that gives me this. I cut a triangle at 4.5 by 4.5 out of blue. I don't think you need to watch me do that, but, and then I'm going to place that right like that. And here's my, this is going to go like this. So like that. I am also going to have just blue, so this is 7, so I'm going to cut Bluebell at 6 1/4. Well, I'm going to do 7 by 1/4 because I'm going to tear it. I like the torn look. I like the torn look on this. See how I did this one? So I tore around it. So I made it 1/2 inch bigger than everything else, although I didn't tear it here, and I wish I had, but I'm not going to unstick it to do that. So you can see that I did not buy the stamps. If you have the stamps, if you bought this paper pack and you have the stamps, we're going to do a little bit of random stamping. And I using things from my stash, and I'll show you what I used. So I used a stamp set that is called Smiles from the Garden, and it's a thin cut, and I use this little butterfly right here. It's very similar to the butterflies on the page. Okay, so with random stamping, it's random, kind of. There is a because as soon as I say I'm going to be random, I'm not random. And I meant to bring my mess mat, but of course I didn't. So I have 2 things that I'm stamping. Well, first of all, sorry, I also like to sponge. Oh, and I didn't bring the sponge out here. Oh, goodness gracious. Just when I think. I took a sponge, and I'll do this off camera because I don't want to run and get my sponge. I take a sponge, and I'm going to, because it's white and it's pretty stark, you can see, I'll hold this up. I'll hold this up and you can see that I just sponged lightly with the green. I just took a sponge and light limeade and I just stamped. Same thing with the blue, I just stamped above. And then I'm going to do the random stamping. Normally I sponge and then random stamp, but since I forgot my sponge, I am just going to random stamp. I'm not going to have my butterflies on the ground because that would mean they were dead or something, I don't know. So when I'm random stamping, I have two things. I have two different things I'm random stamping. Two different, what'd you call it? I guess it's, I'm gonna and then I also have a dragonfly that's similar to it. You kind of want to do a triangle, a rule of 3. I want one kind of over here because that one is down there. And a lot of this is going to be covered up, and I'm not even concerned about that. And then I'm going to do my dragonfly. He's a little bit bigger. I probably, looking back, I probably should have done the dragonfly first because he's a little bit bigger. And I think it works better if you have your bigger things first, and then I'll just color those off screen. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, so that lines up like that. I am going to line this. See, now that I have this here, I can look at my, I'm going to kind of, this isn't exact, I don't have it glued down exactly, but it kind of lets me know, okay, I want a butterfly kind of over here, I want one over here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bluebird paper and I'm going to create it so that it will tear like this. So I will need to cut my paper at 7, which means I'm going to cut it at 5, which will give me 7, which will give me an inch, which will give me a ½ inch to tear. And I will show you what you don't want to do. Okay, so this is the time that on the first one, you want to glue this on here first. So this is gonna be mine right here because I want the tear to show, but this kind of gives me a reference point. So if you want the white core to show, you just pull it like this. And the reason I really like this is because I think I have white as a background, and I think tearing it and having the white core, plus I really like white core. It kind of goes in phases. When I first started, they were like, it distressed everything and made it all murky, and now I feel like now some of those techniques are coming back. See, I don't want it to go, I want a little bit to show, but I don't want it to be a huge border, and I don't even care if it's even or not. I like a white core. And I like how wild and kind of crazy that is. Okay. So, I think I'm just going to do one side because otherwise, well, we can do both. So, I always forget to introduce myself. My name's Joy Ani, and I have my channel. This channel is Scrappin' in My Own Private Idaho. I am a Stampin' Up person now. I was a Close to My Heart person. And so there has been a good transition. I mean, I don't think any of us ever wanted to say goodbye to Close to My Heart, but you know, things change, and we kind of go with that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I like how that's torn. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have, I'm just throwing things over here so you guys don't have to. This is probably 15 minutes. Ooh, ooh. I don't think I've ever done a video over 30 minutes. This one may be the one. Okay, and I'm doing the dark side. The dark side. I've got to do the dark side of bluebird. And once again, I'm going to butt it up right here. And then I'm going to tear. So this week I would have, believe it or not, I'm feeling retired now because it's August and I'm not going back to school, which is very odd for me. Normally in the month of August I get a little anxious. I mean, I always loved my job, but it's always such a shock when you've been off all summer. Well, the most shocking thing is how short the summer is. I promise this summer was the shortest of all. I can't imagine if I actually had to go back and work this week, because I would have gone back. I was a librarian, so I go back extremely early because we get the computers all set up, and I was cleaning my room. I need to go and say hi and bring cookies or something, because I actually have I thought I returned my books, but obviously I did not, because I have one that needs to go back to the school. So I'll sneak it in. I'll do what every person who ever had an overdue, sneak it in and put it in the book drop. So, yeah. Alright. So this is the torn part. And I will have still pictures. I can't do still, it might take me a little bit to get the still pictures up because I dropped off my granddaughter and I forgot my phone, because every time my grandson sees me, he wants to look at my phone so he can see the baby. And the baby, oops. Okay, so the other thing I need to do is I'm going to pull this up because I'm going to trim, well, I can have this hang over. I'm going to have to trim this a little bit because, interestingly, when you cut a 4x4 square and you cut it at a triangle like this, it is, oh, actually I think that's going to be okay. It hangs over a little bit. So I will probably trim, if it bugs me, I will trim the corners. I love this design. This is definitely a sketch I will use over and over again. Okay, so now we have the fun part, which is this, and I think it looks like a picnic cloth, and I have, some of my pictures are the boys eating in the front yard with a picnic. I have summer pictures. I was gonna, I have pictures for them, but because I don't have my phone, I can't print my pictures. And this, I'm going to show you this fun title I had. So, from my last video, I did Prickly Pear. Remember, I did Prickly Pear. Paper Pack. This came from the Prickly Pear, and it is perfect. Is it not perfect? So, same, right colors and everything. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to show you the odd, so this, the size of this picture, believe it or not, is a 2x3. And I print my own pictures, and I didn't want it to lose that cute little thing, so I didn't want to do a 3x3. So I did a 3x2 because I have an Epson 400, and and I use Project Life, and one of the options is a 2x3. And since they're little, and so the pages are smaller, and I want to put a lot of pictures on there because I have so many cute pictures of this cute little fella. So this is going to go here like that. So these are 2x3, like that. Gotta make sure everything's lined up. That way I'm keeping my little square, and I'm going to refer back to my cute little sketch. She has them overlapped, but I'm going to have it like this and like this. On his I won't have a whole lot of journaling because with 8x8 you don't have much room. But I'm going to show you this fun little stamp. So this title is from Close to My Heart, and it was a stamp of the month, and I will show you. So this is the stamp of the month. I stamped that, and it looks like this. I have one of these left. If you didn't get that stamp of the month, drop me a line. I have one. So I'll show you how fun this is. So I looked at it and thought, where's the U? Well, the U just happens to be this fun little watermelon. Okay, so now I'm going to clean this off really quick. And then the colors that I used, this was jade, and I used jade, and I'm going to use rosy red. Rosy red, like my granddaughter, rosy red. So I will cut this out. So if you, like I said, if you don't have the stamp set, on my Facebook group, it's called Scrappin' in My Own Private Idaho, Joy Ani Scrappin' in My Own Private Idaho. I will be listing all of my former Stamp of the Months. So as Close to My Heart consultants, we had something called the Stamp of the Month, and they were, if you purchased $50 worth, you could get a stamp set for $5. Of course, your shipping and your taxes made it a little bit more than that, because Close to My Heart always charged on the retail value. So the Stamp of the Month actually was, I think they were like, they were several prices. It's interesting. Close to My Heart had, when I first started 17 years ago, a D stamp set was $22.95, and that was in 2007, 8, something like that. And then with 2008 rolled around, they lowered the price, and so they wound up being like $19.95. But they charge you shipping on the $19.95. So shipping was usually about $1.40, and taxes were that. So anyway, Stamp of the Month actually cost you around $7 when you paid the taxes and everything. All right, so that is that. And you could like cut out more watermelon and set them on here. You could embellish all sorts of ways. I am going to use, this is a zip strip. So she has, on her layout, if I can find it, I can use my large. I can use this one. Ooh, it kind of fell off. She has, I guess I buried that. She has dovetails and the pictures coming down. So she has a dovetail that comes there. This one. On this one, I'm just using bulk. So this literally, this 8x8 layout was one piece of pattern paper. You would not have to back it like I backed it if you We're trying to save paper. Put that right up there together, because that's how my sketch was. Well, you can always tell when it's time for me to stop talking and be done with the layout, because my tape runner stops working. And I'm using the Hobby Lobby one. I promise my Stampin' Up adhesive is camera shy, because every time I go to make a video, I can't find it. So anyway, so I will do still pictures. So I'll show you, this is the 8x8. This is the 12x12. And I thought this sketch would be so much fun. Imagine if it had you could have a baseball theme. The wonderful thing about Christy's Beautiful Life, and this is day number 28. I think I have 3 more to finish this, and I'm bound and determined, even though it's taken me 3 months. They give you all kinds of ideas. Like I've seen one where it had a baseball, but they are so much fun. The sketches are so much fun. Anyway, so I hope you love this paper, and I hope you will like and subscribe. And my goal, of course, is to finish Christy's Beautiful Life, the May version, before October rolls around. Anyway, so this is almost a 30-minute video, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I will have a shorter, more organized video for you next time, hopefully. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.